I read it the other day.
Guys, next one.
We're going to open the September 21st, 2023 council meeting, but before we do that, I've got a gift for all council members.
Is this off the record or on the record?
This one's.
Huh?
This one's.
Is it on the record or off the record?
Wear them proudly.
Yeah. They're two different colors.
Oh, good, put mine away.
Wear them proudly. You get one of each.
Yeah. I almost got one out of the thing today.
When,
I'm sorry?
Almost got one out of my drawer today.
You did?
About this color.
Not that color. Jerry doesn't get any because he's late. All right, proceed. Thank you.
Martin Howe,
Present.
Will Hyman,
Present.
Mark Jackson,
Here.
Wayne Worth,
Here.
Patty Wright, Vice Mayor Ripple, Mayor Malpachetti.
Here.
This evening, we have our prayer and pledge by Councilmember Wright.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. We ask that you guide us as council members to make the best possible decisions for our community. We pray that every decision of this council glorifies you. We thank you for the many blessings in our lives, and we ask that you please continue to protect our city and citizens from harm. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes of the regular session of September 7th, 2023.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Marla Faree wishes to address council concerning the tank pitch contest at the Robinson Grant.
I also brought Luis Ramirez with the Economic Development Corporation. Good evening, council. I want to thank you for your time, and we want to be respectful of everyone else that's going to be here tonight to speak to you. The chamber and the partnership we have with the city of Clarksburg has a great history. We appreciate your participation and attendance at events like business breakfast, business after hours, and of course, my favorite, celebrating new business in Clarksburg. We do free ribbon cuttings, and it's a great way to promote that business throughout the area. The city website is now sharing the Tank Entrepreneur Contest, and honestly, this event is going to be a game changer for one of the contestants. We have already 200 people registered to attend that night, and the contest will draw people to our downtown area. As I like to say, great things happen in Clarksburg. The contest is Thursday, October 5th at our historic Robinson Grant Performing Arts Center. The doors open at 5 and the contest begins at 6. There's a great grand prize package totaling over $25,000. This includes $10,000 check presented that night to the winner. Each one of you may have a program that Annette has given you. There are 6 businesses in the competition for the grand prize, 2 of which are from Clarksburg. Andy Walker with his business Heirloom, and Brandon Ross with the business SR Spices LLC. I'm really excited about this one because apparently he's bringing some spices for people in the audience to have and be able to see the scent and the taste of those different spices. The mission of the chamber is to promote and foster small business. The committee for the tank decided to create a fan favorite that night so that we could get attendance up and get the fans involved by using a QR code to vote. The $10 ticket price goes directly to a cash prize for the fan favorite. So the chamber does not make any money off the ticket that is sold that night. There's still plenty of time to get your ticket. You have to visit the chamber website because that's how we're selling them, at thechamberofcommerce.com. Look under events and register. You do not have to be a member, and there's a little icon that says not a member, click here. The technology that was developed for the QR code was by Luis, and he's going to talk a little bit more about the importance of the Economic Development Corporation being part of this event.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luis Ramirez. I'm with the Harrison County Economic Development Corporation. As Marla was talking about the QR code, the Harrison County Economic Development Corporation has partnered with the chamber to help promote and support local businesses. Now, if you look inside of your flyer, there's the QR code in the middle. The QR code is to be used the day of the event to cast your votes, which will give the opportunity for one contestant to be named the fan favorite. And as Marla mentioned, the entire ticket price will go towards the fan favorite. The process of selecting the fan favorite is quite simple. You can use your smartphone and select the person or contestant that you mostly relate to or like, basically. You'll input your email, and that's pretty much it.
And if you want to play with it, you can, because Luis has the ability to reset.
Correct,
For the
yes.
night of the event.
So we encourage everyone to come to the Robinson Grand on October 5th and support our 6th grade entrepreneurs.
And I do believe that you received the invitation to the reception that's going to be held prior to the contest. With that, we know that you have a council meeting that same night, so go back to your council meeting and you still have time to come down and help support the contestants. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Tommy Lopez, 307 Spring Avenue, wishes to address council concerning Spring Avenue and schools.
I'm back again for time number 755,000, asking for the situation on Spring Avenue in front of my home, my neighbors, to be addressed every time I come, no matter what information is presented. Backburnered. End of the day, there's asphalt covering the drains. The work's not done per the blueprints. There's extreme damage. You guys have heard your own employees sit here and form and acknowledge code violations on your own behalf as a city. You've heard people testify to things in a forum that you two guys attended. There's FOIA information that everybody is aware of that is in direct contrast to the information that's been presented. Everybody is aware of the multitude of issues and no one addresses it. Okay, we've seen the history that's gone on here, and I feel like I'm a fortune teller in what is going to be happening with some issues in relationship to following the insurance policy, which you guys aren't doing as a group. Okay, I don't know what else a human being has to do, but again, every time I come here, it falls upon deaf ears. There's no results. There's no one participating, and you guys aren't acknowledging what happened to the wastewater, the stormwater committee that was supposed to be formed months ago. Shh, nobody said, you're in violation. You're not doing nothing. You're not addressing things. There's a whole list from the floor to the ceiling, and for the new members here. Okay, yes, everyone's wanting to point backwards to the past, but everyone's been here long enough now that you all are aware of all the multitude of issues. And again, per your insurance policy, which I think everyone needs to continue to familiarize yourselves with, once you are aware of a potential act that is inappropriate, illegal, against charter, against code, all those things, when you do not immediately report it, when you do not immediately take action upon it, you pierce your own insurance protection. Okay, and everyone's forcing a lot of people into a lot of situations here because of the failure to respond to data that everyone's aware of. Continuing, the school situation. I've been here till I'm blue in the face, asking everyone on this council to please get involved in what's going on with the school system. We've got a meeting going on down the street here, okay, that we should have people at. Okay, is anyone on this council going to take the leadership to be involved? If we do not have a plan and are not involved with what's going on with this potential school consolidation, losing WI, the schools going outside of the natural boundaries of the city, we're not going to have anything at all left. Okay, and again, it's been nothing. So I want to formally ask council to please, in your closing comments, address what your feelings are for the school situation for Clarksburg. And everybody knows what the Board of Education has put out and what they're down there meeting about and what's all over the news. And we are the ones with the biggest effect as citizens here. And so you guys are in charge of that for us. And we need your voice dealing with the Board of Education and putting out what the citizens of this city need and want. And that needs to be part of a larger plan that is not in place as well. We can't tell the school system what we want school-wise, and we don't have a larger plan in place. So again, it is incumbent upon everyone here to please immediately get involved in those things. And I want you to answer, are you for moving WI out of Clarksburg and bringing it out to Liberty High School? Okay, because that's what's before us. They want to consolidate potentially burden Liberty and take WI out to Clarksburg, leaving us with no schools left in the natural boundaries. Okay, they're taking Northview out and want to move it out there too. So please let your citizenry know if you're okay with that, because that's the plan. That's what everybody's talking about. And then I would ask each of you to give your commitment to the superintendent to be on a committee, to go down there and actively be engaged. We need a special forum just of our city residents. We need a separate meeting, a work session, just so we can talk as a group and what really is it that we need and want, because I know that everybody here doesn't really know and understand that. I get that, but we can't be ignorant of it anymore because our buildings are empty. I've been from the floor to the roof of the Chase today. I've been from the floor of the roof of the Gore yesterday. I'm in the floor of the roof to the golf. These are all people. I'm doing energy audits, solar panel audits. All the buildings are empty. Why? Okay, we've got to take steps in doing what we've got to do for our schools and ridding our downtown of vagrancy. Okay, that's the other thing. I know we've got a lot of issues to address, but the vagrancy issue has to be immediately addressed as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Chris Gorham, who wishes to defer his time to Chris Lane, sorry. And Chris Lane wishes to speak regarding his property.
How's everybody this evening? Been coming to council meetings for quite some time now. Was hoping to get a break from council meetings with the new council in place and new leadership. Fortunately, I guess I still have to keep coming back to them. Last council meeting, heard some concerns from some of my neighbors about my property, my home. And I'm sure everyone can appreciate a man's home is his castle. You know, it's his right to protect it. It's his right to do with it as he lawfully see fit. And last meeting, you know, one of my projects was brought into question. I just wanted to clarify a few things. You know, to date, every project that I've done in the city of Clarksburg, at my property, at my businesses, at my buildings, for other people, their properties, their businesses, have all been done with proper licensing, insurance. It's all been done with proper plans, proper permits. And to date, not a single project that I've done in the city of Clarksburg, the entire time that I've worked, operated, lived in the city of Clarksburg, none of them has ever received a code violation. Not one. Pretty proud of that. No, that's probably not a statement everyone can say, but I'm pretty proud that I can say that. You know, we've heard last meeting that there are several folks that has a distaste for some of my landscaping. And I'll give them credit. I do not have the greenest of thumbs. I can grow a tomato plant, but I cannot grow a lily flower. Don't know why, but flowers, and I guess what most people perceive as being pretty is not my green thumb. And apparently, some of my neighbors are upset because I do not have the flowers and the type of landscaping that they want to see, that they like in their neighborhood. And I'll apologize for that my landscaping does not appease the standards or the quality of my neighbors. But to date, I've invited code over, they've been over, they reviewed all my projects, they've reviewed my entire property. Inside, out, front to back, edge to edge, they've been through everything. And they had no violations to report on. Encourage you, if you hear any complaints or disdain, please check with your code office, because I've not had any violations. Now, there is a matter of opinion on landscaping I have in front of my property along the city curb. I have a 2-foot knee wall. And apparently, most of the neighbors, individuals, are under the belief that a wall cannot be placed within the city right of way. To date, after multiple requests, even some pending FOIAs, and a meeting, the city has been unable to provide any section of code, any ordinance, any right-of-way easement, or a deed for the street prohibiting landscaping to be done within the city right-of-way. Yet, because of the disdain of some of these neighbors, they would like for me to redo my landscaping, relocate my landscaping, because it's not pretty to them. It's a little disappointing. Might go ahead and quickly hijack your TV. By talking to several of these individuals, it seems like I'm the only one violating this. That I'm doing something wrong. Case in point, here's a survey that shows my landscaping, that shows over here particularly that it's 4.56 feet from a center line wall to the right of way. Wall's roughly 2 foot wide, so that puts us about 5.5 feet off the curb to the edge of the right of way. Don't dispute that. It says it right there. And this is a document the city provided, specifically stating that Buchanan Avenue is 40-foot right of way. Now, in some instances, the city's commented that Buchanan Avenue is just straight city property. That's not the case. It is a right of way. It's described as right of ways. It's listed as right of ways, and to any engineer, architect, businessman, someone in the city, from beginning of time, streets are right of ways. Now, with that in mind, whenever I did construct my landscaping, I did have a conversation with code, and code told me that anything less than 4 foot does not require permits because it's considered landscaping, and landscaping does not require a permit. However, because of the proximity to the street and the manner of which I had to construct my landscaping, the city did issue me a permit to construct my landscaping via closing the street. So the city was well aware of my landscaping, was well aware of my intention. Granted, even though a permit's not required for landscaping, permit is required to occupy and close the street. And they did issue me that permit. Some of the folks that's complained about it, here's an example of one property owner. Buchanan Avenue has 40-foot wide right of way. And that allows for a 2-foot grass buffer and a 3-foot sidewalk. Most of Buchanan Avenue on the north side of the street has a 2-foot grass buffer and then a 3-foot sidewalk. However, on the southern side of the street, as shown here, it only has the 3-foot sidewalk. That does not mean the right of way gets shorter that simply places a 2-foot buffer on the backside of the sidewalk. As you can see here, this individual's landscaping, which contains a knee wall as well, is well within the city right of way. On down the street from that one, and as you can see here from aerial mapping of the city right of way, where it shows on the north side, the grass buffer and the sidewalk, and it shows the sidewalk on the south side, and the right of way extending beyond the sidewalk for where the buffer should be. This particular individual has a more substantial, more retaining wall. That's out on the city right of way. Being in construction, none of those are 8-foot masonry or 8-inch masonry blocks, with 6 whole blocks high is 48 inches into itself. With a 4-inch cap block and roughly 3 inches of exposed block in that corner is roughly 55 inches, which puts that in a category of over 4 foot that requires permits to construct that. So for that to have been constructed, they would have had to obtain permits, and permits would have had to been granted for that to be placed within the right of way. Some folks have said, well, I'm against the curb, and they're not. 4 streets behind my home is Point Street. As you can see on Point Street, the sidewalks are right back to the curb on both sides of the street. On the parcel viewer, it shows the right of way. More than enough room for the sidewalks. But on the lower side of Point Street, you see that right of way continues. No narrower, same width. On the low side of Point Street, you have the property owners here that constructed knee walls right against the curb, as well as fencing right against the curb. Some of the fencing, the wooden fence, an example, is of the height over 4 foot that requires permits. Now, I don't claim to know everything, but I have a little bit of common sense. And it seems like that the city has permitted walls, fencing, landscaping to be done within city right of ways. But all of a sudden, because neighbors don't like the appearance of landscaping, they can raise complaints and issues, and the city will allow plain and simple discrimination to take place and ask that I redo my landscaping because it doesn't suit the aesthetics of others. It seems like if a city has a policy that landscaping is not to be within the city right of way, that this is something the city would enforce citywide and not target and single out a single individual over aesthetics. Appreciate your time. I would hope the city takes it seriously. Hope the city does not discriminate. We'll go ahead and drop these off. Additional for you, sir. I can email copies over later on. While I'm back up here, I am curious to see if the city's discriminating anyone else in any other form, shape, or fashion. It sounds like Tommy has issues there that I have shared with him that we brought up in the last year with the previous council over issues on spring, over a stormwater committee that the city placed in DEP permits that they would put in place. At a meeting that he referenced that Ms. Feld did attend, where we was promised that within a month of her being here, the committee would be reviewed and put in place. And we're 3 months in and haven't heard anything.
Okay, Chris, Mr. Lane, your time is allotted. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
City managers report and update.
So under the city parks, the splash zone, there's been small project works in that area. In Veterans Park, there's been a 3-phase electrical panel update and maintenance continues in that park. The Clarksburg City Park, there's also upgrades going on, the storage room, the dugout pads will arrive, the indoor facility plans for the USA boxing event in February. There's following up on the flooding from a few weeks ago. And there's been conversations with the state on what to do and how to move forward, and maintenance continues. Miscellaneous, the concerts start in 2024. They've booked 4 concerts. 3 of them are free and 1 is ticketed. You can go to the city website to see what those are. Under code enforcement, there's been 43 building permits issued with almost $300,000 in total job cost. Been $4,100 of fees collected. There's been a number of notice violations and citations. There's been rental inspections, construction inspections, door hangers left, 9 trash can door hangers left, vehicles tagged, entry letters, right of entry letters. There's been a number of new complaints, re-inspections, and 21 see-click fix posts. Animal controls had 62 calls, and then a number of animals have had to been transferred. And the city engineer continues to work on current city projects. They're being checked by inspectors, the condemned property, plan reviews for 134 Emily Drive. The Wendy's is supposed to submit renovations plans, and there's been 181 telephone calls. Economic development. So staff has met virtually with the ownership team of the Empire Bank Building. We also attended the 2023 West Virginia Brownfields and Mainstream Conference. The URA recently approved just over $45,000 of grant awards. On-street parking systems and enforcement in other West Virginia and other municipalities have compared to establish practical parking infraction fines. Staff participated in the most recent Clarksburg Uptown meeting, and they will be meeting with the Harrison County Economic Development Corporation Municipal League and WV Land Use and Sustainable Development Law Clinic to review current and contemporary strategic development incentive programs available in Clarksburg. The Finance Department, 18 structures were demolished in 2023. The grand total of the asbestos and demo cost is $254,000, and the total collected thus far is just over $87,000 for 6 of the 18 structures, which is 34% of the costs have been recovered. The Fire Department, so Chief Steve has retired as of Friday, the 15th of September. We've started the process of hiring a new firefighter. The lieutenants and captains have started the study periods for the test, and both of the department's ladder trucks have passed the yearly inspection. The police department will be giving physical tests on September 23rd and 30th at the RCB High School and written tests on October 21st at City Hall. You can find all that information on our website or Facebook page. And on Saturday, September 30th, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., the Clarksburg Children's House 5K fundraiser will take place, and Main and Pike will be closed from 6th Street to 3rd Street, and 4th Street and 6th Street will be closed from Pike to Baltimore Avenue. Public Works has been quite busy. They've replaced sanitary sewer line, repaired sidewalks, replaced storm drains. They've cleaned out ditches, maintenance to the lift stations, responded to sewer calls, responded to going to boarded up homes. They've prepped, set up, and cleaned for the Black Heritage Festival. They've cleaned up for private events. They've patched streets throughout various neighborhoods. They've done weeding, cutting grass. They've picked up a large amount of yard waste and processed a large amount of yard waste. The Robinson Grant Performing Arts Center on September 18th, the RG will receive a gift of $10,000 from the Berkshire Hathaway organization. The Education Center recently received a makeover with new paint and carpeting, and the 5th anniversary of the reopening will take place on October 20th to 22nd with the following shows, which are listed below. More information and tickets to all our events are found at therobinsongrand.com. And for the wastewater treatment plant, yearly tank inspections are almost complete. The number 2 raw pump VFD is still out for repair. The thickened sludge pump is in the process of being rebuilt. And congratulations to Daniel Brunn on obtaining his Class 1 wastewater certification. And as always, a reminder to the public to please not flush baby wipes or flushable wipes down the drains. They do not dissolve and can cause blockages in the sewer line as well as damage to the pumps.
No unfinished business. New business, consideration of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Clarksburg authorizing application of grant funds to the West Virginia Department of Transportation, West Virginia Division of Motor Vehicles for a 2024 highway safety grant in the amount of $407,560.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of a resolution of the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia, directing the city manager to negotiate an intergovernmental agreement with the County Commission of Harrison County, West Virginia, and the Clarksburg Water Board regarding municipal and county elections.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Just had one question, and maybe our attorney could answer it. There are 3 people up here on council that this will affect. Would it be proper if do they have to, just my question for clarification, would they have to recuse themselves from this vote? Or is this something that's not gonna, be a financial interest for them?
Richard, if you wouldn't mind.
I mean, I think at this point in time, it's a decision of, it's negotiation of a entry into a resolution. So nothing is, until you get to the intergovernmental agreement, nothing's being done at this point in time. You're just merely going to see an entry for you to go discuss this. Any intergovernmental agreement, you have to come back to. So.
All right, that's all I need to know then.
And all you're doing is carrying out what your charter purpose says. It's just the next step in that process.
Okay.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Clarksburg to provide funding to the Clarksburg Water Board for the Chestnut Street Waterline Replacement Project.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Discussion.
Okay.
I was going to offer an amendment, and I spoke to the attorney this morning, and it appears our city manager has taken the initiative to include that amendment in the last paragraph of the resolution itself. I find that fitting, and I urge passage. That's all I got.
Anybody else discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of setting the date and time for the observance of trick or treat.
We have a motion.
Second.
I think we need to make
We
this.
need date.
Discussion.
Yeah, discussion.
Call me old fashioned, you guys and ladies. Halloween is Halloween, and I think we need to celebrate Halloween on the 31st.
I'll note that I did receive some comments by email asking us to hold Halloween on Saturday. And I agree, Mr. Mayor, that I'm old fashioned too. Certainly felt old fashioned this morning. And I'd like to see Halloween on Tuesday. However, I did receive a lot of correspondence from parents and others that maybe we should move it to Saturday, but I'm fine with Tuesday myself.
It's too late this year. We don't want, unless we coordinate with all the other cities, I think it's too late for us to even to attempt to try to have it on a Saturday. As a parent of a kid that likes sugar, he didn't have any tonight, so he's being good. If not, if he had sugar, you guys would hear him remember this, but he hasn't. I understand the concerns of some parents on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, trick-or-treating, they eat some candy, get into bed on time. The next day at school, it's a wash. I mean, there's no learning there. You're there. I mean, it's almost like a hangover. I mean, for all the sugar, like the kids, there's no really learning that next day. I know from what I remember as a kid, I used to eat candy until midnight on that night. If we had school the next day, it was bad. The next morning, I fought with my mom. It's the whole thing. So I get the parents that have those concerns. And I just see it as more of an event Saturday night. You can watch some scary movies or something. But again, that's next year. I mean, there was rumors that I wanted to cancel Halloween altogether, which is, that's Facebook for you. I did not. But yeah, I think next year, I think we should look into that and maybe get the city manager even suggested, let's reach out to the public and try to get a poll and really try to figure it out that way and get the parents involved, not just really get the sense of what the citizens want. And next year, I hope we can do that. And that's all I have.
Young Mr. Riffle. Can I have Woody up here for this vote? Come on, bring me Woody up here. I'm gonna set Woody up here. I'll give him right back to you. All right, we have a motion and a
Oh, wait.
second.
On that motion, I need whoever that made that motion to give me the date and the time, because that's not included on there. So who made the motion?
You make the motion down there.
Oh, you think it was Councilor Hyman, wasn't it?
No, I was just describing that.
I think
asking for a point of order on
I think I made
exactly
a
the
motion.
motion. That's all I mentioned, because obviously that was.
I make a motion. I make a motion to have it October 31st from 6 to 7:30.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Woody, he raised his hand. All right, motion carries. Here you are.
Council comments?
Will, you look like you're ready.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. I just,
Whoa.
Not that. I was gonna provide a motion for the water board resolution, and I'm pleased that our city manager took the initiative and handled that, and I'm pleased with the way it turned out. Obviously, the water board asked for $350,000, we're gonna deliver that $350,000. I know I've been up here seemingly being the only one that maybe was against it and going into it, and, I thought about it a lot since our last discussion, and thought about the issues and what's going on down there and how we've got to this. I'd like to see maybe going forward, maybe some discussion on including a member of council to be a council representative on the water board, the same way we handle the sanitary board, same way we handle every board and committee with the city. I know that there's some language in the charter about how the water board operates. Obviously, it's defined in this resolution that we passed this evening. And, I think that would have been helpful going into it, knowing if we had somebody on the water board as a representative of council, just like the same way that I sit on the sanitary boards as the council representative, I can keep my finger on the pulse of the sanitary board and know what we spent, know where we're at, know where we need, know the wants and needs of our sanitary workers. And so I think maybe we should look into that. I'm not quite sure how we get there. At first glance, I assume they would need some type of charter amendment. I know that's a tall order at this point, but maybe we can talk about it and make it work. But I'm glad that we can help the water board, and I'm glad that they've been so up here and they're telling us and what they need, and I'm glad we finally came to a resolution. Although I'm not. Choose my words carefully here. I'm not very impressed with the way we got here, but anyway. Children's House 5Ks this weekend on Saturday. You might see me walking along in it or managing traffic or helping out any way I can. It's a great school. Yeah, I told you I'm old fashioned. I'm definitely feeling old fashioned today. So other than that, have a great weekend and see you next time.
Mr. Work?
No, that was quite a contrast. Anyway, I'm just very, very impressed that we did decide to give the water board $350,000 for such a very important project that, that has a lot of implications. If we didn't do it, that project didn't come to fruition, the implications it would have on not only our city, but our county and our customers, who purchase the water and stuff. I don't really have much to say because we're kind of a light agenda, but in the city manager's report, it was very promising to see that, we collected, from from demolitions, 6 of the 18 structures that we demoed last year. It's quite impressive, and I want to thank our finance department, for all their hard work doing that. And other than that, I think, if anyone attended the Chief Steve Police's retirement party at the Robinson Grand, it was really nice. It's good to see a lot of folks that support that, man. I went up there and I told him, I said, I said, you're pretty much the only person I ever seen in the city, to be in that hot seat right there, city manager. You always come into the lion's den with a smile on your face and a positive attitude. And that was, that man deserves, the rest of his lifetime, of quality and, comfort and leisure and happiness. So, and I wish him that. And with that said, wish everybody a good weekend.
Councilman Jackson?
I would like to thank everyone for coming in this evening, sharing your cares and concerns. I don't know exactly what's going on over on Buchanan Avenue, but I'm going to sit down with the city manager and see if I can get some more clarity. I've heard mention of a water committee or something of that nature. I need to be more informed. I want to find out what's going on over there because I know that I've seen some of the same individuals here on numerous occasions. I can't promise you things are going to go your way, but I'm going to look into this situation and see exactly what it is. If we promise you something and we're not delivering, I need to see what's going on there. As far as the situation with the schools, I would like to be able to be in two places at one time. And if I get out of here in time, then I'm definitely going down to the school board meeting because that's a serious concern for our city right now. But, we have things, we're working hard and we're just pushing forward. And at that, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson, would you like to be excused now? Okay, that's fine. Thank you for being a representative for the city.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Wright?
Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
To start, I wanted to just say I'm also very happy about the funding for the water board. I think they really did work within their budget and stretch their own budget to the point where we were able to provide some help to them. So I'm glad that that passed. Secondly, I also will work on following up on that committee. I also don't have a lot of information on that, but it's time that we need to follow up and at least get some sort of answer because I know Tommy's been here numerous times. So I think that would be best for everyone. And then lastly, as part of my duties here on council, I was appointed to the Region 6 Planning and Development Council. So I actually attended a meeting last night for the first time, and it was kind of good timing because they're working with FEMA and the West Virginia Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and they're updating their 2023 hazard mitigation plan. So what this is essentially we want to participate in this as a city. So if we were to have a natural disaster, this is how FEMA decides how to put out funds and resources. So basically, if we're not included in this plan, then we're not going to be first in getting any resources. So I just wanted to bring that to council's attention and also the city managers. And I have copies for everyone so you can kind of see from the 2018 plan. And then this just needs to be turned in at some point. I think it was before October 31st. So,
Thank you, Ms. Wright.
and I hope you all have a great weekend.
Mr. Howe?
Yeah, I too, with the water board, I'm happy we could get to where we need to be. And I share everybody's concerns in the past as well, that things have gotten to where they were and most likely probably should not have gotten to where they were. I think back in 2021 when Harper was released, this could have been acted on then. And I think, honestly, I'm sorry we only got to 350. I think at that point in time, none of these council members were present here for that decision, but that can was kicked down the road, and that should not have been. And that should have been taken care of in 2021 and got well underway on the overall plan. Will, I know what you're saying about a council member to be a advisory member or whatever that is, but I think, personally, I think it's an open meeting, and I think if anybody on council or the public for that matter has concerns with the water board or really wants to know what's going on, you need to take the time and show up. I think they welcome that to see it, what's going on over there. I can tell you years ago, and I would encourage Tiffany and Jason to have open lines of communication, which I think you do. I think that's a positive, and I'm glad to hear that. I think that's the way it used to be, and I hope your superintendent, as well as meeting with our public works superintendent, to keep them updated on things that are going on. like it used to be. So I think those types of things can keep everything moving forward. So, so I think we just need to take advantage of that for people to attend those meetings and be well aware of what's going on. Tommy, MS4 committee, I know too much about it. And honestly, I can tell you again, there's past council members no longer here, thought it was a joke. They kept saying MS4 is BS. That's a made up position. We don't need that. And quite honestly, again, that was a unfunded mandate by the state of West Virginia, DEP. And I from my understanding, we still have an MS4 coordinator. That committee is supposed to be set up. And I've actually called previously before Tiffany was here and actually requested that 2 people be appointed to that board, which has never been brought forth. So I do hope we look at that, take that seriously to get that moving forward. Wasn't aware it wasn't up and running. So we need to get that up and running, definitely. Because I think we do leave ourselves open for exposure. I think the other question is Board of Ed, right? So Board of Ed, that one, I think I would encourage everybody, especially council, review, research, and study the issue at hand. This isn't something new that just came up by the Board of Ed starting this week or last week. It's been there for many years. The rumors, not rumors. You can ask people on Board of Ed. This discussion has been going on for quite some time. So I think we need to be actively involved one way or another. And Tiffany, I would encourage you to get in contact with Superintendent Doris Stutler. Make sure you fully understand, and then you can relay some of that back to us of what their partial plans are or in their planning process. I think we do need to be aware of that. We can go back 30 years ago, and I think, looking at Clarksburg and how things happen, school closures, school consolidations, look at the neighborhoods. You had 8 elementary schools, 7 elementary schools closed. That was devastating to the city of Clarksburg back in the 90s, early 90s. And again, we're at this point again. I'm not saying I'm opposing to the consolidation. I think the population speaks for itself. I understand the economics of it. But at the same time, we have to make sure we have a solid reuse plan. And I don't think the Board of Ed should be let off the hook on that either. The Washington Irving Middle School, that's smack dab in downtown. Northview Elementary School, another one that's really, I think, our last one within any community. So, I'm not saying I'm against it, but I think they have to have a plan in place. This is not for consolidation, but what's the ultimate effect? Don't let a school sit like Towers Essential did for 20 years, selling it off for $2, whatever it was, and then it sits there for another 20 years. And then ultimately, there it is. We're in the middle of a dispute to demolish another building. So I think, as a city, we definitely need to be involved, feet at the table, seat at the table, discussing what the reuse plans, and then where we're headed as a city overall. So I would definitely encourage that, and I encourage council to get a hold of your Board of Ed, whomever is representing you, to make sure you have some discussion with them. And that's a hard decision they're going to have to make, but we need to be influential where we can. Let's see. I think lastly, several things. So when I ran for council, a lot of people ask me, Martin, why are you running? Why do you want to get back to city council? Why do you want to be there? Well, I was very disturbed over the last 4 years. And I think we're to the point now financially in the city. And I keep reviewing the budget and I don't feel good about it. And quite frankly, I hope we have another budget revision coming soon. And when that comes, I would like to have a little bit detail to that budget revision. And I think we all need to take a hard look at where that budget revision is. I can tell you over the last 4 years, and I'm not sure if this council, if everybody understands what the 1% sales tax in use was actually for. Back when it was put into place and brought up through home rule, it was brought up for 4 reasons. And I think we're at a point in time, we really need to take a hard look. A lot of that money has been appropriated back to the general fund. And quite honestly, I'm disgusted about it because there's almost 3 million out of 5 million being put in the sales and use tax back into the general fund. And the purpose was not to plug a hole. The purpose was to, number one, fund the police and fire pensions. I understand we changed the police and fire pension system, but that ultimately doesn't mean we take the money and put it into the general fund to plug the holes. That money is supposed to be in the sales and use tax fund to do the other items listed. We're talking about infrastructure, to the water board. We're talking infrastructure sanitary board. Will, you have your finger on the pulse there, and I'm happy, but there's a pool of money that should have been there over the years to be able to use to do major upgrades, Liberty Avenue slip, Milford Street project that's going on. There's a lot of infrastructure needs in the city, and the purpose of that was to fund the police and fire ultimately, and then the infrastructure needs and then economic development. So we really need to go back in and take a look at that to figure out what are we going to do this coming budget session, this coming year. I mean, I think now is the time to start looking at that, because I think we already dropped the ball previously. I think we need to get the ball back on the basketball court, do something with it, because I'm very nervous going into this next budget session where we're headed. So with that said, there's other things going that I would like to have an in-depth conversation with the mayor and the city manager privately. That probably I'm not really pleased with, but I like to have that conversation privately, not here in the open. But we really need to discuss that. And ultimately, I think when we look at this, we need to look at previous councils, what new positions they've asked for to be hired in the city, and what those positions ultimately do. And do we take duties away from other personnel that were already performing those duties? Because every new person we hire in the city is costing us $75,000 to $100,000. And that's the package. That includes salary, benefits, and everything. So I think we need to caution ourselves moving forward and really look at this as we move forward. So with that said, I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. I don't know if we should let you speak. You were 12 minutes late.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Vice
I'll keep
Mayor.
it short. I want to apologize to everybody that came and spoke tonight that I was late. I hate to miss meetings, and if I'm not here, there's a good reason. So I want to apologize. I mean, hope somebody can update me on some of the cares and concerns, as Councilman Jackson says, that for people that expressed tonight. I'm happy we can finally help the water board. I think working relationships is important, especially something as important as the water board. And they've always serviced our citizens. Our citizens will always be our concerns. So we're all one and the same, the way I look at it. And I mean, and ARPA money, I think when they first put the ARPA money out, I think the first word on it every time was water. I think then sewage, then maybe broadband, but water was always first. And unfortunately, you guys didn't get the money. So I'm glad we got that done. What else is, the chief police, said it a few times during his party and his retirement party, and I hope he enjoys retirement, but I don't think he will. I think he's a working guy, and I think he's going to keep working, which is crazy. If he retires, he's supposed to retire, but I think he's going to keep working. I think that's all I had.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Well, I mean, I can follow up and say I agree with everything that everybody said. Again, I want to iterate, see something, say something. I'm happy to announce that there are 22 signs going up in the neighborhoods in town that say, see something, say something, dial 911. Kudos to the police department, the sheriff, the state police, and the drug task force on the bust last week over on Buchanan Pike. I don't know if you all know it, but there was enough fentanyl there to kill 600,000 people. So, good job, Chief. Thank you. I'm happy to announce that for the month of August, we got a TIF check for $211,745.55. And I would like to read this. I think this is going to make a lot of people happy. 2023 fall cleanup. City of Clarksburg will again be sponsoring its annual residential only fall cleanup for 2023. The 3-week schedule will begin Tuesday, October 10th and run through Friday, October 27th. Open trucks will be available to take items too large and bulky for normal garbage pickup. No normal household garbage, demolition, or construction material, cardboard, broken glass, vehicle parts, batteries, or tires, along with liquids will be taken. Small items must be boxed, bagged, or tied. Nothing loose will be taken. All containers must be disposable and the size and weight one man can hoist into a dump truck. To take advantage of this free service, Clarksburg residents are requested to place their items at the curb or in the alley by 7 a.m. of the designated day. To view this information online, go to the city of Clarksburg, West Virginia.com, search Fall Cleanup 2023. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Public Works. And with that,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Say.
we've had a motion and a second. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.